Good morning, everybody. It's Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Hey, guys. All right, this is Sunday morning. I'm trying to get a few things done today. As you can see, we are really pretty much set up now with the time-based corrector and my gen lock and everything on my broadcast decks. But it brought up a comment that actually I did make a mistake, and I just want to correct it. Okay, as you can see, we got our Betacam SPs now are gen locked into the time-based corrector we have. This is a time-based corrector frame sync. It's one of the best ones ever made, one of the highest quality ones ever made. And so just keep that in mind while we're using this TBC frame sync for everything, because this is state of the art. This is why we're using this one. I don't know the specs on correction of frames, but it's a very, very advanced TBC frame sync. We're using that with all my equipment, all my old stuff, as well as my new stuff. But we have, like I said, these are the best Betacam SP multi-format decks you can buy. And this does all of them, including HD cam. And this was towards the end of the run of Betacam formats. So as you can see, I'm pretty much setting everything up, making sure everything's gen locked. And this particular time-based corrector brings up a very good point why I want to bring this up today, because I did see a comment, and of course I made a mistake, and I just wanted to correct this mistake. You know, I've got the BVH-2000, and this is a very advanced 1-inch Type C, very high quality video format from the 80s, 90s prevalently. This was widely used in broadcast television. The comment was the extension card for TBC, the card that would plug into this, it was an option. Okay? Correction, it was an option. My machine does not have that option. Remember, I got this from a TV station. I didn't even get the rack, but I was in my storage area and had to refresh my memory on this, because it's been a while since I picked this unit up. But this does have a TBC, but it's an external TBC. That's why I misquoted on when I said the machine had its own time-based corrector. It does not. It has an external TBC. And basically, it's a TBC. It was quite a big unit. This one is extremely advanced. Why we're just sticking with this one. I'm not even interested in this TBC that came with this 1-inch machine. This is a BVT-2000. I do have this TBC in storage. It's nothing near, I mean, I don't quite know the specs on it. I was reading up on it. I do have the service manual on this thing. I don't know the specs on this time-based corrector, but I guarantee you it's nothing like the one I'm using in my rack, which is extreme high advanced TBC frame sync. So, again, guys, I want to make the correction. I did make the mistake by saying this thing had a time-based correction card. I don't mean the card in the machine. I mean it. I wasn't thinking, because it's been a while since I picked it up. I meant it had its own TBC, which I did get with the unit. But usually these are automatically connected in the rack with the machine when you get it. And since it's been a while since I had this thing hooked up and all that, and now that I have it here hooked up, I just mentioned it did have a TBC, because technically it does. It's not inside the machine. It's an external one that would be in the rack below the machine, which is a BVT-2000. There was an option for a BVH-2000, but this is the one that I have in storage. It's a BVT-2000 that came with the machine. So that's the TBC for this 1-inch Type C machine. Like I said, I did not get the rack with this machine, which I really wish I would have. I would have just, had everything in one place. But unfortunately, you got to remember, I had a U-Haul, and he picked up a massive amount of gear that day at this particular TV station. And, like I said, everything's kind of blurring together because there was so much crap I picked up in one day. But I wanted to correct this video, because people are very they're very direct on their comments. They like the information to be correct, so I want to correct it out. This machine did have an option for a card for TBC. This machine does not have that TBC card. What I meant by that was the external, which I knew I had in storage, which is the BVT-2000. This is the TBC that came with this 1-inch machine with the gigantic rack that it was in. So I just wanted to point that out. I definitely did make a mistake, technically. It does have a TBC, but it's an external one, and this one is in my storage area. And then there was an option for a BVT-2000. So there was 2 TBCs available for this 1-inch machine, as far as I know. But it's an external. It's not an internal TBC. It's an external that came with the machine and the gigantic rack that you would get this with. All I got was the machine and the TBCs on the floor when I picked them up. And I put that TBC in storage because I'm not going to be using it due to the fact it just doesn't have the quality that the high broadcast TBC frame sync that I'm using here, which is extreme state of the art. Which is why we're using this one for everything. But this one came with, I do have a TBC. It's an external one, but it's a BVT-2000. It's a massive big box that would be below the unit, and you have a big plug in the back of the 1-inch machine that's marked TBC. You would screw that in, and then you'll have a time-based corrector hooked up to it. It was an external, not an internal, but an external. I'm sorry about that, guys. If I misquoted and you got you guys a little confused what I was talking about. It's only an external. This thing does have an option for an internal, but not this machine. So, anyways, guys, I wanted to clear that up. But anyways, you could use the time-based corrector that came with it if you want to, but I have no use for this one, and I'm not even going to be using this TBC at all. I'd rather use the one that I have here because this thing was the best of the best, and you know, I got many cards for it. I have no use for actually using this because I believe this was just a lower grade TBC that came with the unit, where this is extremely more advanced TBC frame sync. So it makes a better option to use the most professional one. So this is the one we're sticking with for all our gear. Sorry if I misspoke about the TBCs. This thing, like I said, I was correct. It does have a TBC, but it's an external, not the card that plugs inside the machine, but it's an add-on TBC that would go in the rack below the unit, which is the BVT-2000. This TBC is on the floor in my storage area. I went over and got the service manuals for this machine. I wanted to double check some things, and sure enough, here's the TBC book that I had, and I also have the unit on the floor in a box that came with this 1-inch machine. Again, guys, like I said, time-based correctors, you gotta have them. But like I said, on eBay and various places, if you're looking to buy a time-based corrector, I don't really recommend eBay because a lot of those don't even work. A lot of them are garbage. And but you got to really keep looking because you do need a TBC with old tape formats. And but anyways, guys, TBCs, they're pretty valuable. I mean, these things are like gold to people now because you actually do need them. But anyways, the correction is the BVT-2000. It's a massive big block TBC that would be connected into the rack below this machine, and it would screw into a plug-in in the back of the unit. It was considered an external. I misspoke. I said internal. It's not an internal. It's an external. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video.